Welcome guys to a brand new video today. We're going to be talking about this Sherri Papini situation and Keith Papini, who is her husband. Basically, he's breaking silence on this story. There was this lady named Sherri Papini, which is Keith Papini's wife, disappeared after a jog. So she went on a jog and then she disappeared for about 22 days. 22 days, guys, she was gone. He panicked. He called the police right away when she didn't return on time from her jog. And then she eventually they found her after the 22 days. I think they found her somewhere. She called 911. And she basically said they branded her, they beat her, and they forced her to do things she didn't want to do. Little did they know, about 6 years later, Keith found out that this was all a hoax, that she was lying about this all. This whole time, she would complain to him every single day. She'll tell him how bad of an experience she had, basically, out there. She would tell him all this crazy stories, what happened to her. And as a husband, you know, he felt helpless. So he just had to listen. And he felt really bad. Eventually, you know, they basically found DNA from an ex-boyfriend on her clothes. Which, you know, it's really surprising because he was kind of second guessing it when he saw her in the hospital and she was beaten and stuff like that. He had it in the back of his mind that she was lying because as soon as he saw her, he was like, no, this is not right. But, you know, as a husband, as a protector, I guess he had to just basically, you know, just put it on the back burner and be like, you know what, she's telling the truth. Let me just get this out of my mind and, you know, think positive, basically. And he went through it all too, guys, believe me. He was questioned, he was interrogated, he went for a lie detector test, he went through it all, man. It was crazy because they thought he was involved also. So he went through it, the kids went through it, they have 2 kids together, but now they're divorced. So she's basically, Sherri Papini is basically his ex-wife. So Keith Papini is the one that tells the story. They have a HBO series coming out. Not a series, a documentary, sorry. HBO documentary about this situation, and he basically tells the truth in this documentary. I guess at the end, I think it's called Perfect Wife, which I think they should retitle the documentary to something else, believe me. But let's get right into the video, guys. Please like, please subscribe, and let's get right into it. Let's go.
Your mom who faked her own abduction and lied about it for 6 years. He's speaking out for the first time since her arrest. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman sat down with him. Good morning again, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. When I first interviewed Keith nearly 8 years ago, he was a man who was shattered by her disappearance. Now he is a man who had been shattered by that hoax. And I asked him why he did this docuseries. He told me to try to get the truth out, to tell people he had no idea about her plan, and that the biggest victims of that hoax was her own family.
Hey, Yolo.
Hey, yo. She made us all believe that her story was true. Every single day she committed to the lie.
He was the husband at the center of a kidnapping hoax that captivated the country.
The search for a missing mom in California. Sherri Papini vanished Wednesday while jogging near her home.
Now Keith Papini, after 7 years of silence, is sitting down with GMA, revealing new details about how his wife Sherri faked her own disappearance, lied to authorities, and claimed that she'd been kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women. The hoax didn't just last the 22 days that she had disappeared. It lasted for years, 6 years.
And every single day. And that's what people don't realize. It was every single day.
In the new Hulu documentary series, Perfect Wife, Keith recounts the years-long saga. What made you want to sit down and revisit all of that?
I wanted to get the truth out there and really wanted to let everybody know like how convincing Sherri was all those years and how I believed everything that she was telling me.
In 2016, the California mother of 2 vanishing after going for a jog. The frantic 22-day search for Sherri began with Keith's 911 call.
I'm like totally freaking out, thinking like somebody grabbed her.
As the husband, Keith was the first person police questioned in her disappearance, but he passed a polygraph test. You say that you were living this perfect life. There were cracks. She was telling other people that you were abusive. She told friends that you'd kill her if she ever left you. Are those allegations true?
Oh, of course not. Those allegations hurt, they're painful,
Did you ever physically or mentally abuse her?
Never.
Keith helping lead the search, but without any luck. Then, on Thanksgiving Day, Sherri turned up on the side of a highway.
Are you chained up? Yes. Okay.
Shackled, bruised, and branded. And when we interviewed Keith right after it happened in 2016, he broke down.
She literally lived through hell.
But now he says even then, there was doubt. When you first encountered her in the hospital, what was your first instinct?
When I pulled back the curtain and I saw her and I saw the look in her eyes, I felt in that moment that she was lying. And it wasn't until when I really got close and I could just see the amount of injuries, bruises, burns to her body, and it was a shock to me. And I remember thinking how horrible of me to even think that she could have done this to herself.
For years, authorities searched for her supposed Hispanic captors.
The amount of fear that our family lived in that was fake is excruciating. I mean, the security at our house, new doors, new locks, new lights, new cameras.
Then, in August,
you see, guys, this was the type of thing that she put her family through. They had to go through a lot of crap. Basically installed a whole bunch of camera systems, everything, just for her protection, so, you know, this wouldn't repeat again. And the way she repays her, this is all a lie. So, you know, she's been lying to him this whole time. Pretty sad.
of 2020, trace DNA found on Sherri led authorities to her former boyfriend, James Reyes, who they say helped Sherri carry out her plan. He passed a polygraph and has never been charged with a crime. Investigators confronting Sherri about her hoax. Keith, right there.
I don't know. No, there's no way it's James. There's no way.
So guys, so this looks like it could be cheating too involved in this, because she was gone for 22 days, I believe. And in a 22-day period, you know, when they checked her clothing for DNA samples, her ex-boyfriend's DNA was on it. So you can only imagine what was going on there. And she was gone for 22 days at this guy's house, apparently. So you can only imagine, guys.
Wait, there's no way.
The DNA doesn't lie.
But it wasn't until 19 months later, in March of 2022, that Sherri was finally arrested, later convicted of lying to a federal officer and serving 10 months in prison. She apologized in court. But has Sherri ever apologized to you or the children?
No, never. She has no remorse that I have ever witnessed or seen.
Do you still talk to her?
I do not talk to Sherri at all. It's very difficult for me.
Why do you think that she essentially concocted this hoax, disappeared, beat herself to a pulp for 22 days, and then continued to lie about it for years?
I think she wanted me to be her knight in shining armor and run to her, and I think that she wanted to plan a fake kidnapping, but in her version, I was supposed to find her.
And Keith says the ordeal still haunts him. Do you think you'll ever be able to get out from under the shadow of the Sherri Papini hoax?
I think it's always going to be there. We do want to move past it. I do want to provide my children, you know, an amazing childhood. But I think it'll always be there.